All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through, some of the most interesting stories out there to bring you what really matters. Today we're heading to Tamil Nadu. It's a fascinating place, isn't it? Ancient traditions, modern hustle, all mixed together. We're looking at three incidents today. Seemingly ordinary, maybe, just local stuff. But they actually tell us a lot about how things really work there. Society, politics, culture, the whole deal. So our mission, if you like, is to explore these sort of human-scale dramas. We've got a political meeting, a sacred temple, and a big city's decision about waste. We want to see what they reveal about the bigger picture. Expect some surprises, maybe some moments that feel, well, pretty relatable. Okay, first up, let's set the scene. It's late August 2025, a Sunday. We're in Dindigul. Picture this room, just buzzing with energy, packed with party workers from the AIADMK.
That's the All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, for those maybe less familiar. A major player in Tamil Nadu politics, huge history there. Founded by M.G. Ramachandran, led by figures like Jayalalitha, very influential.
Exactly. And this meeting, it's crucial. They're trying to fire up the booth agents for local elections coming up.
Booth agents are key, aren't they? The real grassroots volunteers connecting directly with voters, the absolute backbone.
Totally. So on the stage, you've got Natham R. Viswanathan. He's a veteran, an MLA, former minister.
Right, represented Natham constituency, held big roles like a electricity minister a while back, 2011 to 2016, I think.
That's the one. And he's giving this important speech, talking about irrigation for farmers, jobs, the really critical local stuff. The mood is serious, focused.
And Dindigul itself is interesting context here. It's traditionally been an AIADMK stronghold, known for textiles, tanneries, agriculture too. These kinds of grassroots meetings, they're the lifeblood of politics in India, especially with state assembly elections looming in 2026. So the talk is all strategy, voter outreach, and criticizing the ruling DMK government. Standard political playbook, really.
But then, okay, get this. The clock ticks past noon. Speeches are going on. Yeah. And suddenly, the smell, it starts wafting through the room. You know the kind. Absolutely irresistible.
Don't tell me. It's the biryani.
It's Dindigul's famous biryani. Not just any biryani. This is like legendary stuff.
Made with that special Siraga Samba rice, right? Small grain. And tender meat. It's got history too, hasn't it? Back to the 18th century.
That's what they say. Persian influences, maybe Hyder Ali's armies. Now it's famous worldwide. The aroma alone. Wow. So what happens next? It's almost comical. One guy gets up, then another, then it's like a stream of people. They're all heading for the dining hall, just drawn by the smell.
Seriously, leaving the meeting.
Rows of chairs just empty out, leaving Viswanathan pretty much talking to himself on the stage.
Oh, wow. Mid-speech.
Mid-speech. And his reaction, apparently he just sort of looked around, paused, and quipped, "Did you come for the meeting or the biryani?"
Huh. You can just imagine this scene. A bit awkward, maybe, but also very human. It sounds funny, but actually, incidents like this, they tell you something quite profound about politics on the ground in India. These gatherings, they can be long, really long, especially in rural areas. People travel far. Many are daily workers, farmers, giving up their time.
Right. It's a big commitment for them.
Exactly. So food isn't just, a snack. It's a huge part of mobilization. Parties spend a lot on it to make sure people actually show up and stay.
So it shows that, ideology is important, but
basic needs matter too. A good meal after hours of travel and speeches, sometimes that's the bigger draw. It really grounds the whole political process, doesn't it? Reminds you everyone's human with simple needs and joys.
Absolutely. And maybe for the AIADMK, it's a little lesson. Like, perhaps think about timing the food better next time. Balance the speeches with the stomach.
Could be. Or maybe it just becomes a funny local anecdote. You know how these things get shared on social media? Might even make them seem more relatable.
True. And Dindigul, it's more than just politics and biryani, of course. It's got the huge Palani Murugan temple nearby. Big pilgrimage site.
And the locks, famous for lock manufacturing too.
Right. But that biryani, it really is a cultural symbol there. Hospitality, flavor. It defines a place in many ways.
So the human element, even in politics, fascinating.
Okay, so from the very human pull of biryani, let's shift gears. We're moving from a political rally to a place of, deep spirituality. The Samayapuram Mariamman Temple in Turkey, an ancient shrine dedicated to goddess Mariammani. She's seen as this fierce protector, especially against diseases. Thousands go there every single day.
A very important temple, people seeking blessings, healing.
But beneath all that sacredness, something really strange has been going on for almost 2 years. Apparently, the temple superintendent has been spending his workdays asleep. under his desk.
Wait, what? Asleep? Under his desk? You're kidding.
Not kidding. Staff have reportedly heard snoring, disrupting the peace. And when they ask him about it, he apparently just stays silent.
That is bizarre. In such a major temple, what's the history there?
It's ancient, goes way back. The temple itself, its origins, are linked to the Vijayanagara Empire, maybe 14th to 17th centuries.
Wow. And the current structure?
Early 18th century, built by the Nayak dynasty. And Mariamman, the goddess, she's revered for healing, especially things like pox, fevers. People offer salt, pepper, neem leaves. Simple things, but deeply symbolic.
Seen as an incarnation of goddess Durga, right? A rain goddess, too, bringing prosperity. So it's deeply woven into the community's well-being.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. This isn't just some small local shrine. It's managed by the state.
Right. The HRNCE department, the Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Department, they manage thousands of temples.
And Samayapuram, it's the second highest revenue-generating temple in the entire state. Only Meenakshi Temple in Madurai brings in more. We're talking huge amounts of money from offerings.
Crores and crores. So the superintendent's job is actually really critical. Coordinating rituals, handling complaints from devotees, managing funds.
Exactly. So if he's indisposed, napping, you can see how things could go wrong. Ritual timings, visitor management, trust.
Devotee trust is huge in a place like that. People travel far, full of faith. If the administration seems chaotic or, well, asleep.
Understandably, the staff are frustrated. They've apparently asked for him to be transferred, or at least get a medical checkup.
Have the higher-ups responded?
Officials have sort of hinted there might be medical issues, but nothing seems to have changed decisively. It just drags on, raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, and it makes you think about the bigger picture of temple administration in Tamil Nadu. The HRNCE manages a vast network. They face constant challenges, right? Allegations of fund mismanagement sometimes, staff shortages, land encroachment issues. It's complex.
There were audits back in 2023 that found discrepancies in some places, weren't there?
So this incident, while maybe extreme, it kind of highlights potential weaknesses in the system. It's not happening in a vacuum.
So why should the average person, maybe someone listening who doesn't live nearby, care about this?
Well, temples like Samayapuram, they're more than just places of worship. They're huge community hubs. They often run schools, provide jobs, sometimes healthcare through trusts associated with them. If the administration is failing, it impacts all of that.
Plus, safety during big festivals, right? Imagine the crowds. You need efficient management.
Absolutely. And pilgrims come seeking solace, blessings. They deserve respect and an administration that functions properly. It erodes faith otherwise.
And Tiriki itself, the city, it's full of history. The Rockfort Temple, Srirangam Island, incredible architecture. It adds another layer of significance.
Definitely. A sleeping superintendent in such a vital, historic, revenue-rich temple. It's a striking story.
Okay, let's move now. From ancient traditions and administrative quirks to the heart of a modern, sprawling city, we're going to Chennai, India's fourth largest city, over 12 million people. And think about this, generating something like 6,500 tons of waste every single day.
That's a staggering amount of waste. Managing that is a huge challenge for any city.
Exactly. And we're looking at a specific decision made by the Greater Chennai Corporation, the GCC. It happened on August 26, 2025. And remarkably, it seems to have passed with very little noise or fuss.
What was the decision?
They allocated a pretty significant sum, 8.52 crore rupees. That's, what, around 10 million US dollars?
Okay, hefty sum. For what?
For a private consultant. Their job is to monitor integrated waste management facilities. And critically, this includes a proposed waste-to-energy plant, a WTE plant, in a place called Kodungallur.
Right. And you said this passed quietly. That's unusual for something potentially controversial like a WTE plant, especially involving that much money.
That's the striking part, the silence. Apparently, key opposition councils from the CPM, they'd actually walked out earlier.
Why? Over this resolution?
No, protesting something else entirely. The arrest of sanitary workers demanding permanent jobs. Important issue, but their absence was key here.
Okay, so they weren't there to object to this specific resolution. Anyone else?
Yeah, VCK members left after 0 hour 2. And the Congress councillor for the Kodungallur ward itself, where the plant is proposed, he'd also left earlier.
So essentially, no significant opposition was present in the chamber when this came up for vote.
Seems like it. So the resolution just sailed through, which has led some to ask, is a potentially, quote, toxic project got approved almost by default in the quiet?
We need the background on Kodungallur to really get this. It's not just any neighborhood. It's home to a massive 250-acre dump yard, been operating since the 1980s. It takes about half of all Chennai's garbage.
Half the city's waste. For over 40 years, the impact must be.
Devastating for the residents. They've lived with awful smells, groundwater contamination, health problems. Respiratory issues are common. There are constant fires releasing methane. It's a community that has really suffered from environmental injustice for decades.
Okay, so proposing a waste-to-energy plant there, what does that involve exactly?
Well, WTE plants burn trash at very high temperatures to generate electricity. It's used a lot in Europe, for instance. This Kodungallur plant aims to process 2,100 tons of waste a day, generating about 21 megawatts of power. Sounds efficient on paper, maybe?
But I sense a but coming.
Oh, definitely. It's highly controversial. Critics raise serious pollution concerns. Incineration can release dangerous pollutants like dioxins and furans.
Those are linked to cancer, birth defects, serious stuff.
Very serious. And WTE plants in India have a shaky track record. Projects in Delhi, Pune, they've struggled, often because Indian waste has high moisture content, which makes burning inefficient and can lead to emissions violations.
Plus, doesn't it discourage recycling if you need waste to fuel the plant?
That's another major criticism. Environmentalists argue it locks cities into generating waste rather than focusing on reducing, reusing, recycling, the zero waste approach.
So how does politics play into this quiet approval? You mentioned the walkouts.
Well, the GCC is dominated by the ruling DMK alliance. This WTE plan was announced back in 2024 and immediately faced pushback, especially from left parties and the local residents in Kodungallur. They argue it just dumps another polluting industry onto North Chennai, which already has things like thermal power plants. It feels like an unfair burden.
Did the residents try to fight it?
Oh, absolutely. Just days after this resolution passed, on August 29th, residents actually met the mayor, R. Priya. They were pushing hard for alternatives, better waste segregation at source, composting. They pointed to places like Alappuzha in Kerala, which cut its waste dramatically using those methods, like by 80%.
Wow, 80% reduction is huge. But the walkout, you said it enabled the decision.
Yeah?
Isn't walking out a valid protest tactic?
It absolutely is a legitimate form of protest, a way to register strong dissent, no question.
But the timing here was crucial.
Exactly. In this instance, their absence, however principled, meant there was no voice in the room to challenge this specific resolution when it came up. It highlights a real dilemma in political strategy sometimes.
And for the average person living in Chennai, especially in North Chennai, what are the stakes?
Very real. Potential health impacts, particularly for vulnerable groups like fishing communities, low-income families. Local reports already show higher asthma rates there. And then there's the money, that 8.52 crore for consultants. Will they really ensure safety and compliance, or is it just more spending without real accountability? Big questions remain.
It ties into the national picture too, right? India's big Swachh Bharat mission, pushing for better waste management.
Yes, the national mission encourages scientific processing, but implementation is patchy. WOE is often presented as the modern solution, but the reality on the ground, as we see here, is complex and often contested. This whole episode just shows how political actions like a walkout can have unintended consequences, allowing major decisions to slip through without full debate.
So let's try and connect the dots here. Three very different stories from Tamil Nadu. We had the political meeting in Dindigul, where Biryani briefly trumped ideology, a very human moment. Then the ancient Samayapuram Temple in Tiruchi, facing this bizarre administrative failure, the sleeping superintendent. Again, utterly human in a way.
Right. A failure of process or perhaps health within a sacred institution.
And finally, Chennai. A critical decision about waste management affecting millions, passing quietly because of political maneuvering elsewhere.
So what's the common thread, if any?
Well, looking at them together, it feels like they all pull back the curtain a bit, don't they?
I suppose so.
They show how these big systems, politics, religion, urban governance, are constantly shaped by, well, people. By human needs, human failings, political calculations, even simple distractions.
That's a great point. These aren't abstract systems operating on their own. They're run by people and affected by very human factors. The Dindigul story shows basic needs influencing political engagement.
The temple story shows how tradition and reverence can bump up against, well, incompetence or maybe illness, challenging the institution's function.
And the Chennai story reveals how political processes, even acts of protest, can inadvertently create openings for decisions with huge consequences to pass without full scrutiny.
It highlights that gap between the ideal, how things should work, and the messy reality.
Absolutely. And while these are local Tamil Nadu stories, the themes feel universal, don't they? The human element in governance, the tension between tradition and modernity, the need for real civic engagement and accountability.
Especially now when we're flooded with information, it's easy to miss these quieter local stories that actually reveal so much.
Exactly. They remind us that power and responsibility, they aren't just concepts. They're exercised or not exercised by individuals day to day with real impacts.
So we've taken quite a journey. Dindigul's Biryani, Tiruchi's Sleeping Superintendent, Chennai's Quiet Resolution. Each tells a story.
Entertaining in their own way, perhaps, but also educational about how governance, culture, and environment intersect on the ground.
It really encourages you to look past the headlines, doesn't it? To see the human stories, the local details, the bigger forces at play. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
And maybe something to think about as you go about your day. Look around your own community. Where might a small human moment or a decision made quietly or even just a distraction be revealing something important about how things really work or maybe don't work right under the surface?